Christmas Eve is supposed to feel warm, peaceful, maybe even magical, but for Daniel, a single dad living paycheck to paycheck, it was the day everything came crashing back, every heartbreak, every memory, every choice he wished he could redo. He wasn't expecting anything unusual that evening. Just a quick stop at the mall to buy a small second-hand teddy bear his 7-year-old daughter, Emma, had been wishing for. But the moment he turned the corner near the Christmas tree display, he froze. There, standing under the glowing lights with shopping bags in her hand, was his ex, Melissa. And she wasn't alone. She was with her fiancé. What happened next, what his little girl said, left everyone in the mall silent. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Kindness Diaries, like the video, and comment below about a moment when kindness changed your day. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories to life. Daniel never imagined raising a child alone. When Melissa left years ago, saying they were too young, he didn't argue. He just held on to baby Emma and promised himself he'd give her the best life he could. It wasn't perfect, but their tiny apartment was filled with laughter, bedtime stories, and Saturday morning pancakes that always came out misshapen. Still, holidays were hard. Not because he couldn't buy much, but because he wanted Emma to feel the magic he never had growing up. That Christmas Eve, snow fell in soft flakes across the parking lot as he held her small mittened hand and walked into the mall. The toy store was loud, busy, and full of frantic last-minute shoppers. But Emma didn't seem to mind. She stared at the shelves with wide eyes, clutching the few coins she had saved from doing chores. "Daddy," she whispered, "do you think we can find one that feels soft? Like the ones in the movies?" Daniel nodded and smiled, even though his chest felt tight. He had exactly $15 in his wallet, barely enough for groceries, let alone gifts. But he had promised her a teddy bear, and promises meant everything to him. After picking out a little brown bear with one stitched eye and a crooked smile, they headed toward the food court to share a cup of hot chocolate before going home. That's when it happened. Across the mall, near the giant Christmas tree, stood Melissa. Her hair longer, her clothes nicer, her posture straighter. She looked like the version of herself he always knew she wanted to become. Beside her stood a tall man in an expensive coat, her fiancé, he assumed. Daniel didn't plan to stop. He didn't even want to be seen. But children don't understand emotional history, they only understand faces. "Daddy!" Emma squealed. "That's the lady from the picture." The picture. The one Melissa had mailed years ago, promising she would visit someday. Melissa turned. Their eyes met. A flash of confusion, then shock, then something softer crossed her face. "Daniel," she said, stepping forward. I can't believe this. Is that? This is Emma," he replied quietly. Her fiancé, a man named Trevor, looked between all of them, unsure if he should smile or step back. Melissa crouched down. "Hi, sweetheart. I'm Melissa." Emma tilted her head, studying her carefully. Then she smiled in that innocent way only children can. "My daddy says Christmas is about kindness," she said. "Are you kind?" The question stunned them. Trevor blinked, Melissa's eyes welled up, and Daniel felt his heart twist. Melissa tried to speak, but her voice caught. I hope I am." Emma reached out and touched her hand. "If you're kind, then it's nice to meet you." Trevor swallowed hard. He hadn't expected this. No one had. Daniel shifted awkwardly, wanting to leave, but Melissa stood up quickly. "Wait," she said, her voice trembling. "Can we talk?" Daniel hesitated. He didn't want to reopen old wounds. But he saw the way Melissa's hands shook and nodded. They stepped aside while Trevor stood with Emma, who began explaining how the mall Santa gave her a candy cane but she saved half for later because sharing is important. Melissa took a deep breath. "I know I don't deserve to ask you anything. I know I made mistakes, huge ones. Leaving, it wasn't fair. Not to you, not to her. Daniel stared at the Christmas lights reflecting off the polished floor. It was a long time ago. But I think about her, Melissa continued. Every Christmas. Every birthday. And I told myself you wouldn't want me around. That maybe she was better without all my chaos. Daniel didn't interrupt. He let her speak. She looks happy, Melissa whispered, her voice cracking. You did that. You made her happy. For a moment, neither spoke. The mall noise faded. Shoppers rushed past like moving shadows. Finally, Melissa said something unexpected. Daniel, can I buy her a present? He wanted to say no. To protect Emma. To protect himself. But he glanced over and saw his daughter standing beside Trevor, holding her crooked little teddy bear like it was priceless. And he sighed. I think, he said slowly, she'd like that. Melissa's face lit up in a way he hadn't seen in years. She walked over to Emma, knelt down, and asked softly, would you like to pick out one more gift? Just something small? Emma brightened. Really? When Melissa nodded, the little girl grabbed her hand without hesitation. Trevor stepped closer to Daniel, shifting awkwardly. I didn't know she had a daughter, he admitted. She told me she'd made mistakes, but I didn't know they came with consequences. Daniel almost laughed. She's not a consequence. She's the best part of my life. Trevor nodded slowly. I can see that. There was an uncomfortable pause, then Trevor surprised him. You're a good man, he said. Raising a kid alone, that's not easy. Daniel didn't know how to respond. Compliments weren't something he heard often. Inside the toy store, Melissa and Emma walked through aisles together. Emma chattered non-stop, about school, her 2 missing front teeth, her favorite bedtime stories. And Melissa listened like she'd been starved for this moment. She let Emma pick a small snow globe with a tiny cabin inside, glitter swirling whenever she shook it. It cost more than Daniel would have ever spent, but Melissa didn't hesitate. When they walked back, Emma held the globe proudly. Daddy! Look! She got me a little Christmas house. Daniel knelt to look at it, running a thumb across the glass. It's beautiful, sweetheart. Melissa's eyes were red, but she smiled. I'm glad she likes it. Then came the moment that made Trevor freeze. Emma walked up to him and held out the snow globe. Here, she said. You can shake it first. Daddy says Christmas is better when we share. Trevor froze, staring down at her, this small child offering him something precious, something she clearly loved. His throat tightened. He slowly took the globe and shook it, glitter swirling like soft snow. That's very kind of you, he whispered. Emma giggled. Kindness is easy. Grown-ups just forget. Her words hit both Melissa and Trevor like a wave. Daniel felt his chest tighten again, but this time with something warm. As they walked toward the exit, Melissa pulled Daniel aside once more. Can I see her again? She asked quietly. Not to take anything from you. Just to get to know the little girl I left behind. Daniel looked at her long and hard. She wasn't perfect. She had flaws. She had run when things got hard. But the woman standing in front of him now? She was trying. Yes, he said finally. We can try. Melissa covered her mouth as tears spilled down. Trevor gently wrapped an arm around her. Emma tugged on Daniel's sleeve. Daddy, she whispered, can we all have hot chocolate together? Melissa and Trevor exchanged a look. Then Melissa nodded. I'd like that, she said. So the 4 of them sat at a small table with plastic chairs, drinking warm cocoa while snow fell outside. No bitterness. No anger.